Hello, my name is Patrick Calvo, and I am a student in the Master's in Couples and Family Therapy program at Seattle U. And my presentation is entitled Bowen Family Systems Theory Interventions, Resolving Adolescent Anxiety and Depression Within Family Relationships. So, I'm taking this case from an article entitled Clinical Interventions with Adolescents Using a Family Systems Approach by Colbert, Crothers, and Field. So Jennifer, we'll call Jen, is a white 15-year-old heterosexual female in the 9th grade. She's academically successful, motivated, and a skilled writer. She has difficulty in developing and keeping lasting friendships. Teachers have noticed a depressiveness and that she rarely smiles or seems happy. So she was referred to a community mental health center. When beginning counseling, Jen's goals were to understand why she was often sad and had negative self-talk, as well as how to make more friends. When Jen pursued a new friend, she tended to be clingy with high expectations that her friend would want to do everything with her. This resulted in friends avoiding her. Jen would pursue and promise to do things for friends, but became anxious when others seemingly misunderstood her. Jen's mom wanted her by her side always, with cooking, shopping, cleaning, watching TV, taking care of the other children. Jen's mom often talked about how unhappy she was being married to Jen's father. Jen would often fantasize about running away. Jen was both sorry for her mother and frustrated to spend so much time with mom, annoyed that she could never talk about anything of substance. This frustrating relationship would often cause Jen to blow up over trivial issues. Of course, mom would then cry and dad would come and create a ruckus and yell at Jen to not be disrespectful to her mom. Jen's mom was raised in foster care and always dreamed of a perfect, ideal family. Dad was caught up in his wife's emotions and tacitly encouraged Jen to shoulder mom's burden so as to quickly solve their emotional problems. Then usually after a silent treatment period, the family would go back on autopilot, never discussing their conflicts. So I'm utilizing Bowen Family Systems Theory adapted for an adolescent in individual therapy to reduce anxiety as well as depression by, number one, facilitating a larger global awareness of how Jen's emotional family system currently functions, as well as increasing levels of differentiation and autonomy, where the focus is on making changes for self rather than attempting to change others. Jen is emotionally fused, wired, and meshed such that she is not capable to operate without significant others. She has little autonomy and emotional separation. Chronic anxiety has developed a continual sense of intense responsibility for others' reactions. Jen is in a fused triangle, propping up and shifting attention and resolution away from her mother and father's unstable marriage relationship. This emotional fusion of an undifferentiated ego mass, the family, it overrides Jen's ability to discriminate between her automatic, reactive physiological triggering and her ability to objectively and cognitively separate and form a lucid, autonomous, differentiated self. Her freedom of choice that constitutes a vibrant, unique, authentic personhood is severely diminished. Emotional family tidal surges overwhelm Jen's ability to become an authentic, self-determined person. This family fused state with its chronic anxiety retards Jen's developmental progress in becoming a differentiated person who recognizes and makes nuanced, assertive, individual choices. Differentiation of the self is key during adolescence, where family roles are shifting and one is learning all that entails becoming a fully functioning adult. Of course, all this seems off target and far flung from Jen's presenting sadness, isolation, and anxiety at school. But the profound brilliance of systemic family theory often gets at the essence of seemingly unrelated presenting problems that are nourished from the roots of the family system. Therefore, the problem is often not really the problem. So, setting up and implementing interventions. Bowen family systems theory is not highly manualized. It is a series of interventions using genograms, scaling tests, coaching, and psychoeducation. There are three broad stages of Bowen's views on therapy. Number one, it's to reduce the client's anxiety that emerges from the symptoms by encouraging them to learn that their symptoms are a part of their pattern of relating. Number two, to focus upon clients' self-issues to increase their differentiation of self in resisting the, quote, togetherness force of the family. And number three, coaching clients to differentiate from the family of origins. This results in a decreased anxiety and affects greater self-responsibility changes within the family system. Before beginning these interventions, I would have Jen take some self-reporting inventory scaling tests as a baseline. For one, the PHQ-9 for depression to look at possibility of suicidality or any self-harm. Then I would have her take the DSIR, differentiation of self, inventory revised test, which is common, and the triangular relationship inventory test. And setting up this intervention, I would first build an alliance and reinforce confidentiality in the therapy space. I might suggest to Jen that much of her problems at school and with her own thinking may be an extension or a byproduct of the way her family relates and operates together. I might suggest going on a guided journey that will enable her to make freeing changes in her life. Though not ideal, Jen's parents feel that Jen is the problem. She is the identified patient, and they refuse involvement in family therapy. As a result, Jen is seen in individual therapy, which can be both positive and negative. Rather than the whole family as the locus of change, Jen will need insight and coaching to differentiate and thereby affect change in her family. Jen's ability to increase her differentiation of self will impact her presenting problems, her social interactions at school, as well as her family of origin. The interventions begins with an assessment of information, background, context, and goals that Jen previously provided. This will entail a series of interventions that hopefully opens awareness and insight into family dynamics and how they interact with Jen's presenting problems. The following 6 recommendations for working with adolescents issue from the Colbert article. Number 1, exploring the family dynamics. With Jen's help, we would construct a family genogram to demonstrate curiosity in exploring family members and parents more objectively with their strengths and weaknesses and their personal histories that shape their personalities and how they function in the family. I would assure Jen that it is okay to explore and engage in an objective examination of Jen and her family. I would prepare Jen as well for possible negative reactions from the family concerning her new curiosity. I would help Jen understand that examining family dynamics is not disrespectful, but a way of seeing how Jen fits, identifies, functions, feels, and thinks within the family. Number 2, I would explore and affirm feelings of the adolescent regarding the family. I would give Jen permission to think, voice, and affirm her feelings in the safety of the counseling space when it seems helpful to do so. I would allow emotionally infused clients such as Jen to share some of the problems and thoughts their parents share with them and encourage Jen to share feelings in connection to her role and position in the family. Has it been, quote, challenging, hurtful, oppressive, would be some questions. I would encourage Jen to feel that the therapy space is a safe haven to express her feelings and identify her coping skills. We'll come back to this specific intervention, number 2, in a future slide. Number 3, develop a more objective perspective on the family. Encourage Jen by talking more about specific reciprocal family interactions in specific situations and the family's reactions and responses, as well as her perspectives and concerns, mirroring Jen and not undermining her parents is important. Number 4, decreasing harmful externalizing. I can help Jen explore how her self-concepts have been shaped and internalized by family members and whether these perceptions are accurate. Jen can be taught to use rational self-talk to challenge harmful and inaccurate family perspectives. Number 5, identify family patterns that specifically impact adolescent functioning. I would encourage Jen to explore her thoughts and feelings in contrast to family members and help identify typical behavior patterns that occur regularly between family members. Number 6, developing problem-solving skills within family functioning. I would coach Jen and role play with the possibility of trying out new, different, authentic, thoughtful positions while relating to family members, exploring how she might get her needs met within the family and how the family might respond differently. So this is going back to intervention number 2, explore and affirm feelings of adolescent regarding the family. Here's this is a table that we would populate with Jen's thoughts. First, we might talk about mom and what are mom's feelings. What is something Mom talks about a lot? Mom is dissatisfied with her marriage and her husband, and her feelings are she's frustrated, lonely, sad, unfulfilled, tired. So Mom's specific thoughts might be, Dad should treat me more lovingly. Dad is not romantic. All he wants is sex. I don't feel cherished. What Mom says in front of Jen is, I wish he wasn't gone so much. We never spend time together. I am so lonely. He's so lazy. I wish he cared enough to help me more. Then we would try to disassociate or differentiate Mom and Jen a bit more so that we can kind of take a bigger picture. So I would encourage Jen to fill this out, Jen's feelings that she shares with Mom's problems, such as, I feel sad and angry for Mom as Dad doesn't treat her well. So then we would discuss what Jen says to Mom. It's too bad Dad doesn't treat you better, or why doesn't he take you out? Or, oh, I'm sorry. It makes me angry that Dad doesn't help you more. So then we would transition more into what Jen is actually feeling, separate from Mom and being triangulated in and enmeshed or fused into this relationship. So we would ask Jen, how does Mom's marriage problems make you feel? And she might say, I get really frustrated and tired because we always talk about the same thing over and over again. I want to talk about other things, but we always end up talking about Dad. I don't like hearing bad things about Dad. So then we would transfer over, what do you say and do to Mom when you feel these ways? And she would maybe respond, I ask her why Dad doesn't take her out. I get really angry sometimes and blow up. Sometimes I don't want to go home. So in assessing progress, I would have Jen retake the PHQ-9 for depression to see if that's changed. As well, the DSIR, differentiation of self-inventory revised, and the triangular relationship inventory. So progress is made when Jen's relational family anxiety is reduced and she is no longer rigidly triangulated into her parents' marriage dyad issues. She can ask and tell her mother to no longer talk to her about her marriage, as it is too stressful to hear things about Dad. Jen will be able to distinguish her needs and desires from her family's. Jen will be able to self-soothe on her own without cutting off from her family. Jen will be able to recognize, manage, and reduce the physiological knee-jerk reactions. You know, it's okay to get angry, though it is important for Jen to know how to express it in her family as not a reaction, but a thoughtful response. Progress is made when Jen develops strategies to de-escalate and slow down with a more objective, emotionally educated response using I statements and asserting her needs in the family. Intended outcomes. The goal is to assist Jen in greater levels of differentiation where there is less blaming, decreased reactivity, increased responsibility of the self. Both Jen's fused dependency and emotional cutoff will be reduced, and her differentiation of self will increase. This will change the relational dynamics in her family as well as positively impact her social school relationships. Jen will learn to be more assertive and in touch with her needs and values and thoughts. Jen will be able to self-soothe her emotions and be less reactive, and anxiety and depression will decrease. Jen will appreciate and learn how to enjoy being alone and together with others. Jen will enjoy discovering and living into her authentic self while developing a richer, more intimate relationship with herself and with others. Here are my references, and thank you for listening.